asked the cardboard SAO. Then he looked at the photographer and asked, "Are you looking for a child to deceive me?" The photographer shrugged his shoulders and said, "Is that possible? How dare you deceive people? Your child's appearance as a child is probably what you remember. Right, wear it close. Look at the bewildered figure. If you think so, why should you do it? I should have called this 3-year-old in front of me." The father of SAO. The photographer laughed and said this was the end of the line. The disgrace of my father-in-law is to use Kai Qian's life to reshape. Unfortunately, the material in the hands is limited. But wait for him to train to the martial arts world. Of course, you can change your appearance at will. I agree with you, that is not wrong. The photographer said more. It's not hard to understand. Love can be done through the Ganoderma, on the flesh of others. My father-in-law went into the flesh. By Kai Tu in life condensed raw. I don't know if people understand that or not. He spoke thoughtfully, even though he could understand. But we still can't believe it. The man in front of you is a traitor. I can see that I am also sighing depressively. Then you laugh. IP Tung glanced at him and asked, "Boy, are you happy again?" So the photographer immediately shut up. Death also speaks up. The photographer's grandfather wouldn't joke about that. Let's just check it out. Is he really the father or not? That makes me a little curious. The little question. As a child, your mother once gave you a creed. What is it? He immediately said that I was always a spy. That made the two of you look at each other. The dress continues to ask. This is a question that a lot of people know. We will ask a question that no one else knows. If you can answer correctly, I will recognize you as an eucalyptus. Please bow your head, father. I told you when you were 13, I hit you once. So what's the reason? After listening to the face of the red carpet flushed with smoke, the doctor told the father. Why do people have to ask this question? It also makes me curious and curious. I mean, of course. Because only you and I know this. The clairvoyant was embarrassed, speaking in front of the audience. This makes me say, Rao or Sao. Father, you can ask another question. But you put it on and said it was impossible. I wear it and wear it. Of course, you're not my dog. How much I hope. Photographer, I know you are kind enough to comfort me. The old man acknowledged this. But we also know the dead cannot rise again. Pitiful for the silver-headed to see off the green-headed. But the rebuttal is not. Then I turned to the music teacher. Who doesn't say? If you don't say, Master IP, can he confirm it as SAO? You obviously know. When you two get bored. I thought this boy wasn't an aphid. He blushed and said he was 53 years old if he said Ra. Where is my face? The photographer asked how important the nose was. Why the heartless? Let the musician suffer so much. I saw IP wearing a sad sigh. Then he plucked up the courage to say, okay. And I said, I didn't piss in my pants that year. That surprised the photographer. Face asked piss in pants, SAO. You're 13 years old, and you pee in your pants. Death is also embarrassed. When you hear that, IP tells you to keep talking. The photographer here encouraged the master. You don't have to be so shy. 13 may be a little older. Even when I was a kid, I didn't pee in my pants. The eucalyptus began to sweat. But look at the look on IP's face. Let's talk about 53 years old. I'm not careful. I saw her mother taking a shower. It was almost discovered. So hide in the closet built in the wall. I can't stand it now. I was surprised that my father was like that. The photographer turned his face to praise early puberty. A quick excuse for this. It's because we're not careful. Photographer carelessly hiding in a closet built in the wall. He fled to 3 hours. She also covered her mouth laughing. The dress is now in tears. Confirm that you're really a clam. Then I picked him up and filled him with fear. I told my father to let me down. IP wears full of emotions called IP cardboard. The two looked at each other with emotion. One side of the line says Lord. I don't know how many years. Master Yi has not put people up so high. Maybe today I can experience a little. Angry eucalyptus says rotten little boy. Then I saw something in my face. Face poet. When IP's beard came, he kissed falsely. Make eucalyptus blush and scream. I am glad to say, my son. I can't believe you're really alive. That's good, father. The time I died. My father must have suffered a lot. Then, the Buddha reached out his hand to touch my gray hair. Me. Over the years, my father and I have rarely seen each other. I didn't expect that meeting to be a goodbye. Let's not talk about feeling. Maybe I'll value the person in front of me even more. But it's kind of weird to lift it up like that. He was happy and asked if he wanted candy. Haha, I will arrange for you to prepare. I remember your favorite is candy. And Jice's road is on the corner. Then I remembered and told him to forget. Both are over 120 years old. She soon stopped making sugar candy. Ha ha ha, then let ye fall down to really exclaim. It's a strange feeling. Dressed on the ground, I glanced at the photographer. It hurts me to be what I am now. I will punish you for half a month without seeing your face. The photographer sat down and said, Master's father-in-law, you've just been born. The body is still too weak. Maybe I'll actually pee in my pants in the middle of the night. We also have a way to treat bedwetting in the middle of the night. Do you want to try a little or not? Make the eucalyptus angry, yelling at the rotten little boy. You dare to insult me. The photographer seriously replied to the master. I'm not kidding. If you really wet yourself in the middle of the night, it may affect your reputation. Until then, the whole city knows this is bad. I was surprised to ask why. The photographer explained, your body is made sick. Stop training again. After slowly gathering into entities, there will be a lot of water. You have to get out there when sleeping in bed is hard to avoid. I am in a hurry to ask you what your way is. The photographer grinned and asked back, this is about you and death. Aphrodisiac furiously said, photographer, you dare to threaten me. She laughed and replied, I dare not. I just want to help my father. I can't take care of it. I can't take care of it. The photographer gave a book. This is the Angel of Decision, most integrated with body humiliation. By Kai to in life condensed raw. The body now of the owner of the natural Kai. Very strong force cultivation speed surpasses ordinary people. Add this method. The music minister said, you can practice martial arts very quickly. Then you can change your appearance to restore to its original form. Hustle in a hurry to ask. can actually recover as originally SAO. The photographer said nothing. It's okay to turn into a woman. Hearing that distorts speech. The photographer stood up and said there was no need for guests. As a gift to my father-in-law. Get angry and ask what you said. Smiling photographer. Haha, I'm kidding, man. Practice it. At this point, Park Z came in and said, I've arranged for a few people to bring the inhabitants of Kwangwi Kai City. It's arranged in turn. The photographer was a little surprised. Come ask me 7, how did you find it? Ka called me here. The photographer replied, no, wrong. Outside is the vast infinite heaven. Only by going outside can we know. Kwangwi Kai City, it's just a very small town. In the shimmering desert world. Little Lin fluttered the world. It's just one of the 3 worlds. Long-range area at the top. It's just one of the 3 worlds. Outside of this place is an endless field of growth. They are complaining about us of the past. It's a frog at the bottom of a well. Just finished. Suddenly, an explosion happened in front of you. What is it that makes you dress in wonder? This is the direction of the owner. Put your hands out. Immediately, the front explosion is bounded, so as not to affect the people around. The rebels also appeared. Then I asked the photographer why. The fish came and said, I think I've felt it. Is the battle to go to the world of darkness? It's broken out. I wonder if that is the sword. I thought of the crazy old man in there. Met before. So let's go over there and have a look. Everyone went to the site of the explosion. The clothes are also sweating. Look at the aftershock that the explosion created. She looked at the smoking hole. Along with the electric lightning, I think the war has been cancelled. I was worried to say this. The tunnel to the dark world is gone. The piece of the sword is still inside. How now? Photographer. As the photographer squinted carefully and said, wait. As the dust gradually dissipates, there's someone gasping inside. The photographer looked at. I can see the black wings coming out. Empty hands on the ground. The sword appeared with a decayed body. Painful moaning. And fall face down unconscious under the rocks. The men shouted anxiously for the sword. Park Trach and 6 adventurers hurriedly jumped into the hole together. Suddenly, the photographer up there felt something. Yelling and not being careful. It makes the photographer wonder. The photographer above said, even if you can approach the spirit of this world, you can. But I haven't finished yet. The eyes of the 6 angels were red. And then both Park Z and the 6 adventurers were shot up into the sky. And fall to the ground in pain and bleed. The photographer turned around to ask Zach. 6, you don't know. I thought there was an extremely scary atmosphere nearby. I am trying to tell you, I am not wrong. But in my mind, but one click can bring the long view. That I hurt. There are 6 people here moaning in pain. Suddenly, the crazy old man came out cold. He looked at the photographer and spoke. Infinite, uncensored. Endlessly hydrophobic. The photographer here was suddenly oppressed and shouted. 7 want to fall down. Worried to ask the photographer. He was terrified. I think he just locked me up based on gas. It's absolutely impossible to move. The old man had a black voice. The hell of the world I created you. Break its rules. The photographer asked the old man. We've got a misunderstanding, haven't we? What are we doing against the rules? The old man replied, all those who have left the world of darkness. They can't go back. Here's the rule. That startled the photographer, who turned his eyes to the sword. Hurry to explain. We don't know this rule. They say that those who do not know are not guilty. The old man's voice was cold, so he was still alive. It just doesn't matter. He told me to come for you. To make a fool of yourself, that's what Ra is. The old man said seriously, maybe you already know I want to kill you. Hear that? 6 horrible adventures screaming not good than photography. Meanwhile, calmly, he went to the old man. Infinite, uncensored, endlessly hydrophobic. You and me, they are all the heirs of the great Ming Emperor. We have to kill each other. You can get the power of the enemy. Lift your lips and ask if I'm right. Deep thought, he couldn't see through his power at all. But it can feel. I am not his opponent at all. The old man's eyes suddenly lit up. Then breathe out and say, it is a shame you are so weak now. Kill you. I can't raise too many VIs either. Vietnamese, 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 they want us to kill each other. Vietnamese, Vietnamese. The old man asked. It's just a shame we've done it. I killed 2 of the great undead. One of them came from the angel of the fatherland. The photographer was surprised to think that the angel of the homeland also had SAO. The old man continued laughing. The other is my brother. The photographer asked, have you gained their power or not? The old man replied that not only did he get their power, under the irritation of the blood vessels, our power has risen to more than a few levels. This is the Taurus, he said. Nie Li is not Ming the Great. My brother and I have found his grave. But I've never heard of it. He is the heir of the great emperor. There's this kind of rule. The old man continued, now the heir of the great Ming. Maybe it's just you and me in there. The perception is too weak, should not kill. The photographer thought, this old man is so madly sloppy. When it comes to you, your face is cold. Maybe you always have wings in your heart. With his own hand that killed. The photographer asked his predecessor at SAO to kill his brother. Is the VI really that important? The old man yelled for an hour and said, under the grip of the hand of heaven. My brother and I can't stop. That moves forward. Since practicing the 10 self-precepts, me and my brother, relentless pursuit of other lineages, finally killed the angel of the land. We beat the Kier lineage to death. But my brother was also seriously injured. He was finally made perfect for me. The photographer asked if it was worth it. Because a 6th generation has lost its best friend. The old man bowed his face. Whether it's worth it or not, we'll never know. I was like a ghost of musketeers. He's been in this world for over 300 years. Now you are the last one. There must be a battle between you and me. The photographer said this is not sure. I think in the heart of the early. There was also doubt. Not Min the emperor at SAO retained the stone. It's like we're in a cage killing each other. And the person outside the cage is still looking at us. This is the cause. My father didn't touch me. Waiting for the old man alone. The person outside the cage should be in the yard. The old man praised the boy for being so smart. I think it's been a long time coming slowly. The emperor is not dead. He himself has practiced this maxim. The surprised photographer asked if the old man understood. So why don't we stick together? When the old man heard the two words, he laughed. Only based on your strength now, or SAO boy. You need to practice for 100 years. You can catch up with me today. As the photographer said, this is not certain. Not Min great endowment excellent. He practiced countless years of winning. I didn't even know how high it was. Based only on strength. I'm afraid I'm not sure I won either. The old man asked again based on his own strength. You feel you should use the method. What the Buddha said in the martial arts is God. God exists by the rules. We first need to know that. What rules does the emperor hold? The old man asked you why. The photographer said, he holds. It's one of the strongest rules in this world. That's what life and death sounds like, old man. Doubt or ask what you know. Let the disciples slaughter each other. Gain power over the enemy. This is one of the rules of life and death. The old man asked, so how? We can break this law of life and death. I would say, yes, if there was a chance. He must be with the emperor. To decide a battle of life and death, but at least not now. Do you want to defeat the emperor? I just found another one. At least the rules. It could be on par with the new law of life and death. This made the old man ponder the SAO rules. He confirmed it. In this world, the law can be equal to the law of life and death. There are only a few types. For example, the law of unregulated time, the law of light, the law of darkness. You think, if you always practice the Dharma, just like the emperor, maybe we can win him. The old man said, where do you find these rules? The photographer asked a question. Your father has already passed through the Dragon Kingdom. The old man confirmed it. It's just there. We have not yet found the remains of the great unknown. So I'm back. If you ask the Holy Ghost why, pass through or not, but the old man shook his head. The photographer raised a problem. In the Long Ken area, the tunnel goes to the Angel of the Fatherland and the Holy Ghost of the Fatherland. It will open once in 1,000 years. Now it's time to open it. SAO seniors do not go to Long Ken search area. If I could go to the Holy Land, defeat the ghost there, you can win a law. It's about how to get the rules. You have to see the creation of the old self. The old man looked suspicious and asked the boy, are you cheating on me or not? The photographer confirmed, I absolutely do not dare to deceive my ancestors. When he heard the old man recite the mantra, then direct the power to the photographer's forehead. Make him scream for an hour. The photographer is now wobbling his whole body. The old man looked at me. Stop worrying about him and call the photographer. He assured me he wasn't there. Ask the senior, have used the heavens to track down the seal on my body. The old man confirmed that he was not wrong. I can see that the sky is hiding. Over here, 6 adventurers and truck trash looked at each other puzzled. The photographer said of course he recognized it. Seniors don't have to worry. I'm not going to run away. We're not looking for another rule. I will die in the hands of the same old man. The old man threatened the boy. You know the sky is hiding. Of course, I know its benefits. If I find out you cheated on me, wait until I find you next time. You already know how the result is. The photographer bowed his head. The boy did not dare to deceive the old man. I hope I can join forces with the old. Let's defeat the emperor together. The old man agreed. I will believe you once and for all. World Preview. How can we go to the Holy Land? She laughed and told him to go on a safe journey. Next time, invite someone to tea. The old man clapped his hand on the photographer's shoulder and was close to his voice. His eyes darken and he snarls, "You're the best." They really don't fool me. Then the old man flew away. The photographer was afraid to pee in his pants. Hugging my chest screaming, he turned to his partner and spoke quickly. "Let's see how the sword goes." 2 people parked trash and 6 adventurers quickly jumped into the hole. "Call the sword. Wake him up and take out a piece of Dan and tell him to eat quickly." Then the punctured wings of the sword gradually healed. Eyes open. The photographer above called the sword. "How are you?" "The sword is not good. The sword caused trouble for the owner. The Lord tells you to heal well. If we meet next time, it's not that easy anymore. Anger says dare to touch my people. He must pay the price." The sword advises the owner. His power is too strong. It's much stronger compared to the martial arts of the great gods. The enemy has reported it before. The enemy today. I will tell you to heal well. Don't lose so badly next time. The sword says yes. 6 adventurers here ask the photographer, "You really told the old man how to get the SAO rule if he gets the power of the law?" "It's not that it's harder to deal with, or SAO." The photographer confirmed that. "This old man is our enemy. The Holy Ghost is also our enemy. Let them fight a battle. Not very good, or SAO. If both sides are injured, we can just sit and fish profitably." 6. The opposite is also true. Ask the photographer. You say, "No, the emperor holds the law of life and death." "What is the law of life and death?" Smiling photographer. "Haha, I don't know why either." "Can we know that?" "What rules does the emperor have?" "It's all a lie." The old man asked you what you were doing. The Lord replied, "I have not met the emperor." If that's not what I just said, threaten the old man. Maybe he did it. Your face says you really are. Death can be said to be alive. The photographer is out of his way. This religion is so cruel. You will die very quickly. He said with a sigh that I too am helpless. An honest person like me can only live a little cunningly. This made the 2 girls next to me stop talking. The next time period. And the sword with others. Start looking in the world's small wildebeest. The photographer flew thinking. Little Lin fluttered the world was forbidden by the great power. Outsiders can't go in. If I don't use special tricks, there's no going back now. There are many treasures hidden in this world. Now my idea is in the spirit world. It can progress very quickly, but I couldn't find it at all. I don't love reishi letters. Where are you, after all? He flew to a desert essay. The animals are sticking out their tongues thirsty. When I saw him, I was afraid to run away. The photographer hovered in the air and watched. Don't he tell me that time doesn't decome? Even the synapses weren't found. With his current power to search the desert, it's just time in the blink of an eye. Suddenly, he felt something was wrong. Disappear in the air. The photographer has gone into the thousands of Lai Sun heap. Dance is also practicing inside. Slowly open your eyes. I looked at the dance and thought, the power of the surrounding law of the goddess of dance. It's getting stronger. And then at this rate of a recovery. Even if you encounter a martial artist, You can also fight a battle. I have to tell you that I have a request. Dance said to say it. He said before, let's go back to the world. Looking for time, not love, Lin Kai letter, but we still can't find it. I want to invite you to help me. Search the world a little. Find out what treasures are there. They can help us or not. After listening to the dance, I agree. I said I'd use my mind to search a little. Then close your hands and appear outside. So the photographer started looking. She uses the mind, is to have traced the entire world's shreds, and told me to bring the news that my God got. Give you a license. And he agreed. The photographer nodded. I can't believe the world. However, there are so many God-class treasures. Dance confirms that, of course. Little Lin fluttered the world before being sealed. This used to be the land of war. This makes the photographer very surprised. Dance says no wrong. This world, this is where the great war of the gods took place. The photographer also understands that Ra is like that, but for so many years. Why no one came? Take these treasures. Dance explained, you don't understand gods with souls. They will choose the owner themselves. If it wasn't for the forces working together. Even if you find it, they're not sure they belong to you either. Laughing softly, he said, I understand. Time just goes by. The police have now gathered together to talk. That's what it is. I'll tell you the location of the treasure. Each of you is looking for luck. 6 exultant questions. We can actually find the SAO. They say it is true. The world is in chaos. It's where the most animals are. You just want to get it. Recognition of the gods. You also have to show a new style. Park asked to show off the style of SAO. I don't understand. My dad told me to feel real.